Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As you already know, this is your U.S. General. 5-drawer tool cart with side tray and deep compartment. Today is Wednesday, as you can see. We just now making it back over to the storage unit, getting back to it, getting busy as always. All right. In today's video presentation is going to be a little mixture of content between the stacking community just as well as the tool community. But I ain't going to hold you up too much more longer in the introductory of things. But as I always state, as usual, I always keep my signature lingering somewhere in the background. My Dunkin' Donuts coffee. You already know. Okay? So pretty much, I'm about to get quite a few things out to the top of the tool cart. But first, going to take a look at a simple mail call that just came in. Gonna inspect the items real quick, get a good visual on things. So walk with me. Let's get it. All right, first and foremost, as you can see now, I have my package sitting at the top of the tool cart. But as I was being delivered this package, fortunately, you already know I always have to have my Dunkin' Donuts coffee in hand as usual. So on my way, to get my little fresh cup, I just happened to notice, how one of the tellers, they happened to give me my change, and I just happened to come across this heavily toned nickel, okay, that looks just as copper as a penny, okay. So why I took notice to this, I figured, hey, while I'm snatching my coffee, why don't I just make a little quick run down to my bank so that I can see if I can obtain some 90% silver constitutional coins, okay, at face value. In the process, unfortunately, I was unable to get any, but what I did come across is this right here. So while I was in the bank, I just, while I was steadily asking for the 90% constitutional silver, at times I asked for other different denominational bills. So one of the tellers, they just happened to tell me, that they had some fresh cut uncirculated $2 bills. So I basically picked up 5 freshly cut uncirculated $2 bills that are all in numeric order. Okay. So as you can see, these are freshly cut. So, it's always good, to have something like this around. I keep them, to the side. It's a little savings and things like that. All right. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to move along to this package real quick. We're going to take a look at what just came in. So let's get it. All right. What we have here is another package that technically just came in. All right. And as you can see, it is a package coming from APMEX, American Precious Metals Exchange. All right. Anybody who has ever, done business or purchased precious metals through APMEX, they do a great job with their packaging and things like that. They're very discreet. Okay. What basically just came in just now is your 5-ounce 2019 Libertad. Okay, this is 0.999. This is 5 ounces here. As you can see, it came in its capsule. This coin is very thick. After I actually purchased this, I actually ordered 2 others in a 2-ounce and a 1-ounce. Just unfortunately, I didn't order them at the same time. I wanted to, get one in hand because I'm starting to think, to collect some of these, for all the years that they actually have them out in their series and things like that, just as well as some of their reverse proofs and things like that of that nature. So this is a very nice coin. It's very heavy for its size. Once again, this is 5 ounces. As you can see, it's 2019 Mexican 5-ounce silver Libertad. This is a BU coin. Okay. But this is very nice right here. I like this. I'm definitely gonna pick up quite a few of them. I may even get one of their plastic containers and start loading these up right here. Alright. So now we're gonna move along into the tool discussion of the day. Alright. What we're gonna talk about is some 1/4" equipment. So I'm gonna get out a couple of things and we're gonna dive right into it. So walk with me. Let's get it. All right, in today's tool topic of the day, we're going to take a look at quite a few different 1/4" drive options when it comes to, certain lines of service and, your normal simple applications and lighter applications of service. All right, first I'm going to start over here just to give you, some of the part numbers and give you a quick rundown and description of what you're taking a look at here at the top of the tool cart. This is a 6-piece metric shallow swivel impact socket set, part number 106 IPTMMA. All right, this is your metric set. What you're taking a look at here is a 1/4" drive flip socket set. Okay, part number is 106 flip set. This is a 6-piece set, which also comes with 2 hex shank adapter and extension. All right. You're also taking a look at another snap-on 1/4" impact extension set, part number 103 ITMX, or it's TIMX. I can't technically see. It's ITMX. Okay. Everybody is already, familiar with the Milwaukee brand and your 1/4" hex drivers. Just as well as over here, I also have a 1/4" stubby with friction ring. Right on here is a 6.0 battery, and towards the hex driver is a 4.0 battery. What you're taking a look at back here is a snap-on 1/4". Okay, this is a bit driving ratchet right here. Give me a second and I'll get this out because I only have 2 hands. So just to give you, a little visual to the hex bit driving ratchet by Snap-on, this particular item does have a long part number. It's TM936BE36797. This is a product and an item, as you can see here, which is made in the USA. All right. It comes in handy. It also comes with this pouch here, comes with a different assortment of flathead Phillips, just as well as Torx. Okay. So just to give a little brief rundown and description, and everybody is already familiar with the 72 non-locking 1/4" extended length flex head snap-on ratchet. All right. In this discussion, these are just some options that, they technically come in handy when called upon. When it comes to this flip socket set in the 1/4", I actually do have some of these other sockets within my cart. Quite some time ago, I felt the need, to get a whole full complete set, because when I did purchase the few that I have, I purchased them individually. But what I came to notice is that they were very convenient in the field and line of service. All right. I'm going to give you a little quick brief description as far as what they're technically used on, depending upon what you may work on a regular, or whether you come across things, every now and then. All right. All right. So, with this particular flip socket set here that you're, looking at, if I can get out everything. All right. This set right here is mainly more used for BMWs, Lexus, Infinitis, Mercedes-Benz, just as well as quite a few European vehicles and Asian vehicles and some US applications. All right. On BMW vehicles use at least 30 fasteners that are combined between 8mm and 10mm. On Lexus, the 10 millimeter fasteners are used, and on Infiniti and Mercedes Benz, the 8 millimeter fasteners are used. On splash shields, as far as Chevrolets, Buicks, and quite a few other European make models, the 8 millimeter, 11 millimeter, 9 millimeter, and 11 millimeter fasteners are found in a lot of different applications on the European vehicles. When it comes to the Asian vehicles, it's 12 millimeter and 14 millimeter. All right. In the U.S. vehicles, you would normally use the 13 millimeter and 15 millimeter in applications. So these can become quite handy, when using with an impact driver, just so to say, as this 1/4 inch hex that you have here. It's not to say that these sockets cannot be used, with regular normal extensions. So this is for what reason, why I actually have this set out right here so that you can see, not all the time individuals always in 1/4 inch drive is going to have, impact extensions. Some will technically go to, 1/4 inch chrome extensions and things like that, like the Wobble Pluses. All right. But a set like this, does come very convenient when needed and it's on hand. In some cases, I would normally move around with, some of my most standard sizes, just, on something as simple as a regular metal rail. Okay. But when it comes to impact, especially in 1/4 inch, it's less of a chance that I move around with them on a rail. I always technically have to come back to a service car to come back to the box to pull a certain particular measurement. So, we're having a set like this with them being a flip set socket and, you know, being able to eliminate the two sockets in one socket and having to keep coming back to reconvert, having a set like this is kind of quite convenient. It's not always about the snap-on brands or anything like that. If you can actually locate other brands that require or actually have some of the same type features, it's always best to get the best bang for your buck and things like that. But unfortunately, I do actually have a snap-on dealer, what I'm saying? So I just happened, to come across these, even though personally speaking, I didn't even pick these up from off the truck. This particular set right here. This was a set that I actually picked up from off eBay for a whole lot much more cheaper than what it would actually go for on the site. But like I was stating, it's less of a chance sometimes that, when I would be in the shop that I would actually have 1/4 inch drive and normal standard impacts on a rail. As you can take notice here, I have, some of your most normal standard sizes from 8 millimeter all the way up to 17 millimeter here. And there are two different type of sockets here. As you can see, um, everything that's going back that way, you can see the finishing on some of the sockets is wearing a little bit. This is a brand of Advanced Auto, which is called Tech. I've used these for quite some time. I never rounded anything off with them. And I have different chrome sockets from all sorts of different brands, but it's just to go to show you, how unbiased I am to using a more cheaper brand quality of tool, just as well as the 17 millimeter here is actually a gear wrench. Okay, I can always go to my snap-on sockets and other different brand sockets and things like that, but sometimes it's about, when you get a certain particular feel for certain particular tools, you work with, feels best to you and what feels best in your hand. It's not all about the materialism of, having the highest quality brand equipment all the time, because not everybody is always going to be able to afford, some of those higher quality brand tool truck brands and things like that. So, I do work with a lot of different other brands other than just a Snap-on or a Mac or a Maco and, so on and so forth. All right. When taking a look at over here, when it comes to your 1/4 inch swivel impacts, this is a particular item that I always suggest and I recommend, for technicians, whether, well, if you are a DIY, you don't necessarily have to look at a Snap-on brand, but if you can go to a different company like Astro Pneumatic, Gray Pneumatic, Sunex. There's so many other different brands out there. I'm not quite sure whether they all carry or all hold 1/4 inch, but once again, you get what works best for you and the best bang for your buck. Just unfortunately, in this particular demonstration, as you can know, I do a lot of this content with my own personal equipment. So a lot of times, yes, I do throw up a lot of snap on and so on and so forth, but it's not technically about being no snap on boy or no Milwaukee fanboy or, just any of these other tool brands and things like that. It's just, fortunately, I work in a professional settings and I have a different lane. I have a different source of getting things, just as well as I look at a lot of other different platforms when it comes to certain particular equipment. Okay. So when it comes to this snap-on flip socket set in 1/4 inch, as you can see, just as well as I'm using, okay, the magnetic hex snap-on ratchet adapter, it gives you, different options, to work with, whether you're using it, with a ratchet or whether you're using it with a hex drive and things like that. And depending upon the lengths that you may possibly need, as far as the reach is concerned, that's why I actually pulled out something like this that's a little bit more compatible when it comes to the Milwaukee brand, because this back end can go in the hex driver and say I needed to extend the length, okay, of that particular extension there with the socket on. Now with both of the two, it will be able to give me the clearance that I would need, when it comes to a particular gun like this, where it would be, a little bit more harder to get in an enclosed tight area or something like that, due to the fact of the head of the tool. And you know just so to say how I have a 1/4 inch hex 3/8 drive adapter, on the particular gun and things like that. So some of these things, they do come in handy, when they called upon. Sometimes it's not always necessary or needed. you know each mechanic, they work differently, they have their own different methods and things like that. But when you can come across some of these particular items, and just sort of say if something can fall in your lap, don't overlook the opportunity. If you can jump on it, I would suggest that you jump on it, because you never know how it may help you in the long run when the situation presents itself. Okay. Another thing that I want to mention in this particular video, you know, um, once again, just as well as you're taking a look at the 1/4 inch hex driver over here to the side, and then you have the 1/4 inch stubby over here. This is for the individuals who, just so to say, if you didn't technically have this particular tool, but you only had this tool at your disposal, all right, and say for instance you needed 1/4 inch extensions and things like that. This is a impact tool, so I don't suggest that you use chrome extensions, all right. And I'm not necessarily stating that you have to go and find a Snap-on brand, but I'm going to point something out to you in this particular video right here, is that when it comes to a set like this, okay, with this 3-piece set, this is not a set that I would suggest that you pick up, okay, when it comes to this particular tool, due to the fact of its placement fitment ratio when it comes to the extension and anvil, okay, because there are a lot of play with these particular extensions on this particular tool. I'm not quite sure why, but it's a mixture of two different brands. So just to give you a little quick visual of how that would look, and basically what I'm talking about at the prior moment. So just give me a second. All right, so now as you can see, I have the extension locked in on the 1/4 inch stubby, all right? And it is locked in, very tight on its anvil. But see, this is the issue here, okay? When it comes to these particular extensions, with this particular tool. So this is why I state that, this is not something that I would suggest that you mix. If you are only working with a tool like this, and say for instance you don't have something else to compensate while doing a certain particular type of work, because you have to be mindful that even though yes this has certain particular settings, some of these guns are quite strong. Okay, and in a situation like this, this is more of an easier way for you to either round something off, or have, say you was drilling something, and the extension or the socket, whatever the case might be, is walking all over the place. It's more a liability of you technically damaging something, instead of thinking that it's going to help and get your job done a little bit more efficiently. So as you can see with all the play and how I'm rocking it, and it is locked in very tight, as you can see. Okay, but that's not the issue. It's always the issue with the placement fitment ratio, and this is the thing of some of my concerns when mixing certain brands with other brands. All right. All right, and another quick thing, when it comes to some of these swivel impacts and things like that, depending upon if you have a dealer, when it comes to items like this, I suggest that you wait for some of those BOGO deals to come around, because purchasing these can become quite expensive when you're purchasing them individually. If you just happen to run into a BOGO deal, then you'll be able to pick up the metric set just as well as the ASAE standard set. All right, and the same thing falls in the same guidelines when it comes to the 3/8 drive and half-inch drive, just especially the half-inch drives, because the half-inch drives are very expensive. You're gonna pay roughly close to $1,000, if not slightly, $1,000 even, for both sets between the metric and the ASAE standards. All right. All right, so we're gonna end this video right about here. Once again, today is Wednesday. Hope everybody enjoy the rest of your evening out there. Keep it a safe and a blessed one until that next tool review, that next tool haul, that next modification video, that next toolbox tour, and so on and so forth. We're gonna check you later. Peace.